Good day, gamers. Fortain here, and welcome back to episode 5 of Minecraft StoneBlock. Hello, everyone. Oh, it has been a while, unfortunately, since we last joined this world. Life, unfortunately, gets in the way sometimes. Sometimes for a short amount of time, sometimes for a long amount of time. But thankfully enough, we are back. As you can see, we've made some progress here in the carving out and upgrading of center base here. I have completed all of the walls. So what you will see here is a layer of leaf blocks and a layer, there we go, layer of leaf blocks and layer of oak fence. That is going to comprise all of the walls. The ceiling is made of oak leaves. I have not done the floor yet because A, I haven't completely decided on what I want to do for the floor. I've got some ideas. And B, there's some other kind of side things that I want to, at the very least, work on today. And that would just mean me digging up the floor somewhat anyway. So instead of taking the time to do the floor and then having to dig parts of it up, I'm just going to leave it as stone for the moment until it is time to go ahead and complete the floor, work on the storage area, and so on. But in any event, the walls themselves are done. And like I said, let's work on some projects. So the first thing I want to do is actually something I've already done. Didn't realize that it didn't go through previously, so I just have to do it again. We take a look at advancements here under Minecraft. Isn't it iron pick? Upgrade your pickaxe. Well, we've made the iron paxel right here. I've used most of it in working on this place. But for whatever reason, making the iron pick as part of that paxel did not make it actually count towards isn't it iron pick. I'm not exactly sure why. It's not a big deal. But let's go ahead and do this. There we go. There we are. Isn't it iron pick? Perfect. What you basically have to do is you have to make the iron pick and then exit out of your inventory to just have it in the world. And then the game realizes, hey, you made an iron pick. It's kind of strange like that. Sometimes Minecraft will acknowledge the fact that you've made something in your inventory, like in this screen. Sometimes it won't acknowledge it until you exit it. It's just odd, but that's okay. Since we're using the iron paxel, let's go ahead and make another iron paxel. There we go. Because we have enough iron right now to confidently switch from using stone tools to using full iron tools. The compressed crook aside, because that's just easily made out of wood. But we now do have the advancement. Isn't it iron pick? Perfect. Good to go. The next thing that I would like to make is the Actually Additions knife and composter, because in getting all of the wood and leaf blocks for making all of this, I have a lot of oak saplings. A lot of oak saplings. Now, there's several things that you can do with oak saplings. You can turn them into other trees by combining certain nuts or fruits with the sapling. In fact, one of the things I want to check just to see if this can be done, because I'm curious. Real quick, I'm curious to see how this looks. Yeah, you can make a spiderweb sapling. But what I want to do is I wanted to make the Actually Additions knife. Let's see, can I? Nope, I cannot twerk for this tree. No, that's all right. I want to make the Actually Additions knife and composter because I want to start turning a lot of these oak saplings into compost. So if we take a look, Let's see. The knife itself is a knife blade and knife handle. The knife handle is just a stick and a piece of leather. Thankfully enough, we've gotten a fair amount of leather from the Pam's Harvest Craft ground trap, which also has a nice amount of eggs for when we start chicken stuff. So we combine these two, leather and a stick, to make the knife handle. Yeah, there's nothing else that you can make with that. The knife blade is 2 pieces of iron and a piece of flint, which we should have. I do believe over in here. Yes, we got plenty of flint. Perfect. We got that. There's the knife blade. And now we have the knife itself. This furnace has cooked a nice amount of brick. Good, good. The brick will be coming up for certain projects later on. So I'm just going to smelt a little bit more while we're working on this. Then we need the composter, which is going to be this. It is a wood casing, which is log, sticks, and planks, and then just more planks. Easily enough to do. Take that. Bam. And then a few more sticks. Okay. So we need the wood casing. Got it. And now we have the composter. So what we do with this, let's see here in the book, used to make fertilizer from biomash. It works like bone meal, but it's easier to make. Let's see. We take a look at the biomash itself. Can be crafted from any type of food item by putting any number of together in a crafting grid with a knife. So we can do it with apples. We can do it with a few other things. Let's set down the composter for right now. Can I put oak saplings directly into it? No, can't. That's perfectly fine. Can I knife that? Nope. That's okay. I do have a bunch of apples. Let's take a look and see how this works. So that's 1, 2, 3. Okay. So for 3 apples, I get 3 biomash. And the knife does have durability. Good to know. I will have to enchant that later on with unbreaking and mending. Shimmer. Makes the item shimmer as if it was enchanted. That's all. Really. Nothing more. Yes, it is useless. I know. I like that. Alright, so we take the biomash and we put it into the composter here. And then eventually that'll become compost. We've actually used this back in, I want to say SevTech. We use the composter to turn a bunch of stuff into fertilizer. Because at the time, what we were mostly going for was the fertilizer, because fertilizer worked correctly in the Betweenlands where bone meal did not. And then they actually made some changes to later versions of SevTech where even the fertilizer didn't work that well. Well, that's okay. All right. The next thing I would like to do is I would like to make the cyclic sprinkler. Let's see. Place over water and near crops. So I need bone blocks, water bucket, and iron bars. Now, I remembered this time to make sure that I had some bone blocks set and ready to go. I remember previously I went to go do this step, and I'm like, oh, wait. I actually don't have 3, 4, 5, 6. I actually don't have any bone meal, and it would take a while to craft the stuff that I need to make said bone meal. So, whoops. But that's okay. This time I remember it ahead of time. Iron cat assembly for Psy. Okay, we will take a look at that later. We've got ourselves a water bucket here. Bucket of water, perfect. Stone blocks, water bucket, iron bars, and there we go. We have a sprinkler. Now I should be able to place it like... Nope, that's what I was worried about. But that's okay. We can just grab that back. The water bucket. Place water bucket. I just need to have a block down to be able to place the sprinkler against, essentially. Like so. There we go. And that will start sprinkling the crops. Yep. And every now and again, you will see a little water effect that comes up, just like that. And that is adding the bone meal effect to the crops. So it'll just make it grow faster. Now, if I really wanted to, I could make a ton of these sprinklers throughout the farm to like hyper grow the wheat. I'm not going to do that because once I get to a certain point, I'm just going to have some machines that are auto growing wheat all the time, and it's going to be a lot faster than setting up a ton of sprinklers with a ton of particle effects. But I did want to make at least one. So this will now be bone mealing the crops as we go here. The next thing that I would like to do is I want to work on a couple of the Pam's Harvest Craft machines to get some extra materials. Hey, look! Fertilizer! Perfect. And as we can see, as it was said, it works like bone meal. We can set that up later on to be automated. Just take the, the things that we want to make, take the biomass that we have, put it in the top hopper. It goes in there. Once it becomes the fertilizer, it then gets pulled out, and then we just have a constant cycle of fertilizer. Awesome. This chest is getting very full, which is not surprising. I do need to actually make my storage area pretty soon. We'll be working on that in a bit. So, as I said, I wanted to work on some Pam's Harvest Craft machines. We already have the grinder. There is the grinder there, and then we should also have the presser. Here we go. So we need iron and pistons, which is cobblestone, iron, redstone. Okay. Easy to make. We are going to need some cobblestone. This thing has been going quite well, as you can see. Lots of compressed, lots of double compressed, lots of triple compressed. We've got our iron here, as well as a little bit of redstone. Okay. So, presser. We need 2 pistons. Perfect. And now we have the presser itself. So, the reason I want the presser is you can use it to squeeze fruits and stuff into juices and gain some fruit bait as well. The fruit bait will be going into the ground trap to continue getting animal drops like rabbit's feet, raw chicken, feathers, bones, and so on. Let's go ahead and put that back, and put that back. I want to go ahead and make a couple wooden hoppers and some basic chests for now. Let's see. Do that. Go ahead. I'm going to make, let's see, 1, 2, 3, and 4 for the moment. Those. Boop, boop. Perfect. Just getting some basic automation set up for these machines. So, if we take the grinder, let's do this. So we'll have the chest here. We should have the wooden hopper here. take the grinder like so. In theory, we should be able to do that. Yes, perfect. And then chest on the top. And let's see. What grinder? So yeah, let's grab some fish. We'll test this out. Just got some raw fish and a raw snapper. Ooh. That goes into there. Perfect. Not a problem at all. The reason I'm doing this is because I want to continue making fish bait, and you get more fish bait overall by grinding the fish that can be ground into raw fish. Or, excuse me, you get more bait, more fish bait, by using ground fish. The reason being, one regular fish, when ground, becomes 2 ground fish. So, instead of getting, let's see, over here. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, if I were to use 1 fish, I would get 4 fish trap baits for 1 fish. This way, I'm getting 8 fish trap baits for 1 fish. And that just keeps that cycle going. I do have some string here. Since I'm not cooking... Turn 3 string into 2 string. Sure, that makes sense. Not sure what that recipe is for, but okay then. But yeah, we'll just go ahead and pop the fish trap bait in here. And anything that I want to grind, we can just do that. We're going to do the same thing here with the presser. And like so. Got that. Perfect. Let's take a couple of these apples and we'll test it out. Make sure everything's working correctly. So what we should get is some apple juice. Yep, and fruit bait. Now, this apple juice here is different than the apple juice here, but that's fine. It does have a slight bit more saturation to it, which is kind of what I'm looking for. So, there we go. And then, of course, the fruit bait goes into the ground trap to continue getting this stuff. Awesome. Let's see. Do I get any? I definitely don't want to toss the wheat in there because I need the wheat for chicken stuff. But I think we can toss a bunch of apples in here. Boop. And we'll just drink the apple juice and fruit bait is used. Perfect. Yeah, look at this. The wheat has already been growing quite well just from that little bit of time that we've had this sprinkler growing here. Awesome. Perfect. That's working quite well. I think, can't I put the seeds in the juicer? All the way through all the options? No? Okay. Nope. Okay. That's fine. Not a big deal. Okay, so we've got the presser, making fruit bait, making apple juice. Next up, I would like to go ahead. Let's begin working on some of the questing here. We need to do some stuff for Tinker's Construct. Tinker's tools are special tools that can be upgraded and also have special features and lots of different kinds of tools. We probably won't be using Tinker's Construct stuff too much, especially once we get access to enchanting, but I would like to have access to them just in case. So we need to make the stencil table, tool station, part builder, blank patterns, pattern chest, and part chest. So the standard Tinker's Construct things. we can easily do such things. Let's see. For Tinker's Construct, we're going to need sticks and planks. Oh! I didn't mean to make a bunch of buttons. Oh well. Whoops. That's okay. I'll just put them there for right now. That was a goof. I meant to do that to make more sticks. But that's okay. So starting off in Tinker's Construct, we need to make the blank patterns. Let's start off with 20 at the moment. How many do we need for the... Oh, we just need 4, but that's fine. So stencil table, tool station, and part table. So stencil table can be made of pretty much any of the different planks. So it's just the blank pattern itself. Stencil table. The pattern chest is going to be a regular chest and a blank pattern, which is easy enough to do. There we go. We got the pattern chest. We're going to need the parts chest, which is the same thing, but adding a plank and 2 sticks. Easily done. And there we go. There's the parts chest. We do still need the tool station and the part builder. The tool station right here is any crafting table and blank pattern. Do I have not technically made... Well, I think I've made a wooden crafting table and then used it for something else. So we'll just go ahead and do that. Okay, yeah, that does turn it into the crafting station. Tool station. Part builder. Oh, okay. I'm hearing what sounds like lava or something bubbling behind me. It's just the sprinkler kind of splooshing in the background. Get more wheat to do more chicken stuff. What was the last thing I needed? I need the part builder. So yeah, that's just going to be a blank pattern and a log, which I have plenty of log. That and that makes the part builder. Tinkers! There we go. Okay. Claim that. And it does give us the Tinker's Construct book, Materials and You. And, of course, a loot chest, which we are not going to do anything with. That just goes away. Let's grab these. Put them in the impromptu wood chest for the moment. And then opening the Tinker's Construct book gives you all the usual information about Tinker's Construct. Different craftings. Again, I do want to make at least one of each thing, but I probably just won't use them very much because once I have access to enchanting, I can have stuff that has unbreaking, mending, and so on. So because the main benefit of Tinker's Construct stuff is that it doesn't break and that you can just repair it in your inventory. It's kind of a 6 of one, half dozen of another situation. I have enchanted tools. They'll never break. I don't have to worry about swapping them out. or I can build up the Tinker's Construct stuff and then repair them whenever I need to. Meh. They're not bad. I do like Tinker's Construct, especially for in mod packs where you don't have easy access to enchanting, or enchanting is much more difficult. This one, not so much, but that's okay. Good. My more bricks are smelted. The next thing we can work on, or at least work towards, is the smeltery. It can be used to smelt ores, but mostly used to smelt metals to craft advanced tinker's tools. So as you can see, we need a lot of stuff. The casting table, the casting basin, seared drain, seared tank, smeltery controller, the faucet, and a bunch of seared bricks. Now, as always, to get that, we need to make the grout. I am grout. Grout is sand, gravel, and clay. Then you smelt that to make the bricks. So what we are going to do is I did have a bit of clay already made. I also went ahead and made some compressed gravel and compressed sand ahead of time, just so I had a bit on hand. There we go. Grout. Perfect. Okay. The clay can go in there for now. And I'm going to go ahead and start smelting up this grout while I work on some other projects. Here's a question. It doesn't really mean much of anything. It's more of an aesthetic choice. I have the stone crafting table that I've been using since I first made it. Do I want to keep the stone crafting table? Or do I want to make... Or do I want to turn it into the crafting station? No reason not to turn it into the crafting station. But it just depends. Do I want to keep the stone stuff looking like stone because that's the basis of this stone block? Or do I want to just go with tinkers? You know what? I do believe I will go ahead. Oop, crafting station. There we go. Does this also do the thing? Nope, that's fine. Not a biggie. So for now, I'll put the crafting station back here. I do like the way that looks. And we shall set these in here. It is going to take a while to get up all of the seared brick and such that I'm going to need for all the Tinker's Construct. So I'm going to work on some of that off camera whilst I'm doing other things. Let's see. Look at all that fruit bait and look at all that apple juice. So nice. We can toss the fruit bait in here. Let us fill up the inventory with some fishy fish. And let's put them into the grinder here. Since I'm not cooking these fish for the Pam's Harvest Craft foods at the moment, I can just keep turning them into more fish bait. Ground duck, ground fish. I'm assuming that if there's a fish that can't be used for this grinder, like if it just doesn't interact with it, I'm assuming that it will just kind of sit and hang there. Like this, for example, the raw jellyfish. So things that I'm seeing that are not going to grind correctly, I'm going to put just down here at the bottom. So I'll check this every now and again just to make sure that it is continuing to grind. Okay. Grab that, because we had a full stack of 8. The next thing that I want to start on, or at least start getting towards, is the floral fertilizer. Floral fertilizer is used to obtain botania flowers. Right-click it on grass. So we do need to make grass blocks, or at the very least we need to make grass and not dirt or farmland. Thankfully enough, with the sieving that I was doing previously, I did manage to get a single grass seed from Ex Nihilo Creatio. So what I would like to do is grab the iron hammer. What is going to be a good spot for the moment to set this up? Let's do it right here. So we're going to take this, this, and that for right now. Like I said, this is where if I had already made the floor, I would just be... Oh, okay then. Nice. Drinking the Pam's Harvest Craft apple juice gives you 30 seconds of speed. I'm speedy because of the juice. Put that in there. Seared bricks away for a second. Let me combine all this stone together just so my... Go. Just wanted to make sure that the chest for all of the cobblestone doesn't get too full. It's creating an infinite amount, so it's not a big deal, but I just like to try and make sure. There we go. Perfect. Continuing on. Let's grab some of the dirt that we have here. We're going to make an area of grass for a few different reasons. What I want the grass for, well, I should say, I want grass blocks, so dirt blocks with grass on top. I'm going to need that for doing botania things. I also need grass itself because I want to be able to start making the grass blocks in my inventory. Once I have access to Silk Touch, it's not going to be an issue. I can just grab... I can make an area to grow grass blocks and just Silk Touch them up. But for now, don't have access to that. So, I do believe if I water this... in theory, that should make the ticks update a little faster, and the grass should spread. This area should be lit up enough to where that should grow. Give it a moment. See, floral fertilizer is bone meal and any of the colors. What is going to be the easier way to do this? Because obviously I don't want to just sit here and wait for the grass blocks to grow. If I switch this out for, I want to say, the flint mesh. Yeah, the flint stiffened mesh is going to be the best chance. Go ahead and take a little bit of the dirt that I have created already. Let's see if we can get some more. Let's sieve a little bit of this. Not a lot, just a bit. Oh, perfect. I already got 2 seeds right there. Okay. Nice. Right off the bat. Let's see if we can get just a couple more so I can do the corners and I can start bone mealing around. Perfect. That's plenty. Okay. Let's use these up. Boop. Granite. Diorite. And andesite. Perfect. There's my grass seeds. I am so running out of room. I definitely think the next step is going to be for me to... Okay, good. The grass is growing. Perfect. That is good. That is good. Okay. I definitely think the next step is going to need to be that I begin setting up the storage area. Okay. So I'm going to take some bone meal, which I have an okay amount. And I'm going to try... Hey, there's a flower. Perfect. So what I need is the flowers to make the dye, to make the floral fertilizer, but I also need the grass itself. So let me grab some shears. That's stone shears. Yeah, here we go. This is, of course, going to be rather inefficient when it comes to how much... Oops. Wrong button. It's going to be somewhat inefficient for how much grass that I'm going to get and how many flowers I'm going to get per bone meal, but that's okay. Hey, there we go. First red flower. There's rose red. There is dandelion yellow. The main reason that I want all of this grass is going to be for crafting the grass blocks that I can have in my inventory. Again, I'll have a better way to get it once I have access to enchanting. But for now, there is a machine that I can craft that will allow me to have access to them. For the reason that I want to start setting up the hopping bonsais. Getting wood for making the storage area and such, it's going to take a lot of wood. It's going to take a lot of wood because I'm going to be using, for the most part, all of these small storage crates, which takes a lot of logs. It takes a lot of planks, lots of sticks to make. And if I can automate the generation of wood, I will happily do so. And the primary way I'm going to have access to right now is simply going to be using the hopping bonsais. There's, of course, the other machines that can do it, but I don't really have access to those machines right now. There we go. We've got ourselves some rose red. We've got some grass. Let's make the Botania floral fertilizer. Like so. Bam. How much do we need? Oh, I need 5. That's okay. Can I? Oh, that's true. I can use the floral fertilizer to make more. Let me check real quick. Apologies. Having the brain pathway of which way do I go? Ah, yes. The pestle and mortar is a bowl, plank. Yes, that's what I thought. Okay. All right. So I use the floral fertilizer. I get Botania flowers. Now I have Sky of Beginning, which is right here. Sky of Beginning. Pick up a mystical flower from the world. I can, or at least I should be able to make the Lexic Botania as well. Let's grab some wood so I can turn the petals themselves into dyes for more floral fertilizer. So, pestle and mortar. Boop. Boop. With that and that makes the pestle and mortar. Perfecto. Put the bowls here. So this becomes the petals themselves. Perfect. And of course, what we're going to do is use the bone meal to make infinite petals. Once you have the first petal, you now have infinite petals. Oh, I didn't realize that. That is a nice little thing. You can continue to drink the Pam's Harvest Craft juices to continue raising up your saturation bar. Awesome. I like it. Okay, so mystical green, bone meal. We now have the tall mystical green. We shear that. We have the tall mystical green. That's 4 petals. Perfect. So so long as you don't need the flower itself, if you're just looking for petals, once you have 1 petal, you have infinite petals. Good to know, good to grow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And perfect. Awesome sauce. We're just going to use the green for the moment to make the floral fertilizer we need for the advancement, because why not? And there we go. Okay. Yeah, we have 56. I think that's going to be enough for right now. We combine that with the mortar and pestle. Mortar and pestle has no durability. It normally doesn't, but I wanted to make sure that it doesn't have any durability before I just like blew through it. Look at all that glorious wheat. Very nice. Okay, bone meal and floral fertilizer. That should be enough. There we go for the quest complete. Awesome. Get ourselves a loot chest that we're never going to touch. Away, loot chest. All right. From here. Oh, it gives us the Lexica Botania. I thought I was going to need to craft one, but it gives you one when you complete that quest. And here we go. Welcome to Botania. I congratulate you on the fine choice of strapping a sapling and a book together, or just finding this tome in a chest, whichever applies. Well, I was given it. You can navigate this book using the arrows at the bottom of the page, your mouse wheel, or the arrow keys on the keyboard. And this basically just gives you all the basic information. We're not going to worry about... let's see. There we go. All the red arrows and read the contents to be guided through the basics. Yeah. So we have basics and mechanics, mana manipulation, generating flora, functional flora, natural apparatuses, mystical items, baubles and accessories, ender artifacts, Alphomancy, aka the study of elven stuff, miscellaneous, and the index itself. There we go. We'll be going through all of that a little later on. I will go ahead and drop all of the Botania stuff in here for the moment. The next thing that I want to do is I want to make something from cyclic. It's one of those things that I don't use very often. And that is the hydrator, which should be, there it is. The hydrator. Fill this with water so it can infuse blocks with water. Designed to help automate concrete, and there are a few other recipes as well. Input blocks above and withdraw on other sides. So it takes 2 water buckets, some clay, a block of iron, some terracotta, which is just cooking clay itself, and a dropper. Okay. I do believe we can easily make these. The reason that I'm making this is because the hydrator, one of the recipes, lets you turn 2 dirt blocks and 2 grass into 2 grass blocks. I can then take the grass blocks, put them into the hopping bonsais, and now I will have the best growth chance and best growth time for the vast majority of saplings that I'm going to be making. You can also do things like turning bricks back into clay, turning stone into cobblestone. You can make mycelium, you can make ice, you can make gravel. Interesting, 3 dirt and a piece of flint makes gravel, but okay. You can make all the different concretes from the concrete powders. You can wash wool, so if you have some colored wool, you can just turn it into white wool. But like I said, I want to go ahead and make the hydrator to make grass blocks. So terracotta first. Should be 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to grab some saplings because I don't want to burn up. There we go. Yeah, saplings burn half. Each sapling burns half an item, so that's perfectly fine. I'm going to need a block of iron. Got it. 2 buckets. I have 1 bucket already made. There it is. I don't believe I have a second bucket. That's perfectly fine. We'll just go ahead and make another one. There's going to be times where I need 2 buckets or a... Whoop, what? That was weird. There we go. 2 buckets. There's also going to be times where the bucket itself is consumed when crafting, so it's not a big deal. Let's see. Got that. And then the dropper is just cobblestone and a piece of redstone. Plenty of cobblestone here. And I have a piece of redstone right there. Terracotta. The oak saplings can go back away. So we need... Oh, I need 2 more clay blocks. Boop. Got it. Right. Dropper, like so. Hydrator, like so. And it keeps the buckets. So let's put the hydrator right here. Oh, whoopsie doodles. The hydrator requires power. I did not realize that. I'm gonna need to have power. I'm going to have to wait on that for a little bit. I did not realize that the hydrator used power. I forgot about that. Okay, so that plan... It's not abandoned or anything. It's just gonna have to wait a little bit. It's not a biggie. Let's see. Do I want to start working on any sort of power generation now? In that case, like I kind of have the room to make some basic power setups. At the same time, I don't want to go blow through a bunch of crafting stuff when I don't have a lot of room set aside. Like my go-to power generation would be mechanism, which is in the pack. It's easy enough to make, it's easy enough to do. Let's see. That's a heat generator, gas burning, biogenerator. Yeah, I would need to make the crusher. Oops, wrong button. Metallurgical infuser. I would need osmium, which I think I've started getting. Yeah, I definitely have osmium, so I can I can definitely travel down the path of doing that. Yeah. Just taking a look at the hopping bonsais here. The reason I'm wanting to go for grass block versus the dirt is the grow time is 110% on dirt, but the drop chance is only 90%. So yes, it grows a little bit faster, but there's a chance every growth cycle that you won't get any drops from it. So that's why I'm like, okay, I want to just go ahead and go for the grass blocks. We do have the energy extractor cables. The energy cable itself, which I can always make a little bit of, and then that stores power, and that's easy to make. Okay. Interesting. For cyclic, is that the only power generator in cyclic, or at the very least in this version of cyclic? That's the battery. Dehydrator. Yeah, at the very least in yeah, it looks like in cyclic at the very least. That is the only that's the only power generation. Again, I have multiple mods that I can use to make power generation. That's not an issue. Just if I wanted to get the cyclic up and running really quick. Fire generator. Right, peat bog. So peat deposit was sitting in water. Okay. Biomass is vines and leaves. Gotcha. How does one make vines? Can I get... Okay. I would have to change something into vines with Botania, which I'm definitely not going to be able to do right now. Let me take one last look through Cyclic here. Okay. To make dry peat bog, it takes biomass and dirt. Okay. How does one get a lily pad? How does one do this? Oh, you have to do this. How does one do this? You have to do this. Yellow wool, wood chippings, and a slime block makes... Wood chippings is a hammer on that. The slime block is any slime. Milk and mushroom make slime block. Oof. Oh, that's okay. Oh, I could possibly. Slime ball, slime ball, slime ball. Rice slime ball. Okay, so if I have rice seeds, gotcha. That's a long way to go through that. Rice seeds becomes rice dough, becomes a rice slime ball, becomes a regular slime ball to then be able to do that. Okay, do I have rice seeds? Yes, I do. Okay. Taking a look at all the different saplings. Oh, interesting. You just shear that to make a dead bush. Okay. Biochaff. Okay. So I could definitely go for mechanism power to be able to power the hydrator to make the grass that I need. Grab the coal. Yeah, apologies. Like I said, I had forgotten that the cyclic machine, like the hydrator, required power to be able to actually work. I thought it was okay. You put the stuff in there, you put some water in there, and it works. Not a problem. Gather up more of this wheat. This, the sprinkler is making this so much faster. Let's see, are we stuck? We're stuck on the raw eel. A nice amount of ground fish, which is good. So the raw eel cannot be crafted into ground fish. That's fine. Let me take a look through mechanism real quick. Let's grab the osmium. Oh, you can. That's cool. Osmium is the metallurgical infuser that allows you to start making steel. From steel, you can then make the biomass generator. Yeah. Well, that also gets me to ore doubling. Iron ore chunks. Okay. Yeah, I can either get ore doubling through Tinker's Construct, or I can get ore doubling through Mechanism. Either or. Literally, either or. There we go. There's some mechanism stuff. All right. What I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and stop here for now. I'm gonna go ahead and plan out what directions I want to go in terms of. Let's see. The raw crab cannot be ground up. That's fine. Again, I'm going to need a lot of wood. So it's either taking some time off camera to just grind up a bunch of wood, which is no big deal, or it's setting up the hopping bonsai to get trees to have the wood. So that way I can just let those go while I'm working on other things. I need power generation if I want to use the hopping bonsais. I do want to get my storage area set up so I can not worry about just using these, you know, these few small storage crates here and actually like have an actual storage area set up. I do need to craft and smelt a lot more grout to be able to make the Tinker's Construct smeltery, which again, it's another one of those 6 of one, half a dozen of another kind of situations where Tinker's Construct is nice. You can make a lot of material somewhat quickly with the smeltery and stuff, but at the same time, once you start going into mechanism with its ore doubling and other machines, you can just you can almost just do it faster with mechanism, but mechanism requires the buildup of making the machines and then making the machines, upgrading the machines, and so on. I'll have to give that a think, figure out which way I want to do it. But until next time, thank you all so very much for watching. Again, thank you very much for your patience with everything. I hope you have a good day and good game.